Okay, welcome back. So the next question we're going to do is number 3. So at first glance, you may think number 3 is a general question. The narrator indicates that the particular nature of Emma's upbringing resulted in her being. So there are no line references or paragraph references in number 3. But if you look, this is actually a two-part question because 4 says which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question. And 4 does give us line references. And the reason we're doing this two-part question next is because we've already read lines 1 through 5. We've already read lines 9 through 14. And all we have to do is read this paragraph, lines 28 through 34. So we know that the answer to this question is either somewhere in which we read lines 1 through, we've already read lines 1 through 27, or we just have to read this part. So I'm going to basically read the question first. So it says the narrator indicates that the particular nature of Emma's upbringing resulted in her being what? So again, I don't think we saw anything when we read this, so I'm going to read the part we haven't read. The real evils indeed of Emma's situation were the power of having rather too much her own way. Well, this may be a clue. She had too much of her own way and a disposition to think a little too well of herself. So she had too much of her own way, and she thought a little too well of herself. These were the disadvantages which threatened alloy to her many enjoyments. The danger, however, was at present so unperceived that they did not by any means rank as misfortunes for her. So the narrator indicates that the particular nature of Emma's upbringing resulted in her having too much of her own way and thinking too well of herself. Again, did you see how I answered the question on my own before jumping to the answer choices? That's very important. Now, so this is our answer. She had too much of her own way. She thought too well of herself. Now, instead of picking the right answer, we're going to go ahead and eliminate the wrong answers. So inconsiderate, no. We said she thought she had too much of her own way and she thought too well of herself. That's not inconsiderate. Now, don't interpret here. Don't be like, okay, she thought too well of herself and she had her own way, and that is inconsiderate, therefore she's inconsiderate. No. Don't. It has to be exact. No interpreting, no inferring. It has to say it directly. It doesn't say anywhere that she's inconsiderate in the text. Friendless, no. Self-satisfied. Well, that actually means, having a high opinion of yourself, thinking too well of yourself. So this could work. Despondent. Despondent means just very sad, gloomy, just lost all hope. So that's obviously gone. So the answer is B, self-satisfied. And we got it from here, lines 28 through 30. And that's what all that this says. So these kinds of questions, you don't have to answer the question yourself and jump back. Like it just says, where's the proof? So it wasn't in 1 through 5. It wasn't 9 through 14. It was in 28 through 32. Right here. That's where we got it. And it wasn't in 32 through 34. So again, we knocked out 2 questions, 3 and 4. And notice how we don't necessarily have to do the questions in the order that the SAT wants us, or the PSAT wants us to. Like 1 before 2, 2 before 3, 3 before 4. We're actually, doing the questions in our own way and kind of reading the passage piece by piece. So now we've read from lines 1 all the way through lines 34, and we've answered 4 questions so far, so that's pretty good. I'll see you in the next video so we can continue with this passage.